Black Panther 2 felt like a long funeral and a few to the fans.
Exactly. Exactly. That was my problem with it.
Yeah. We all know. I've already talked about my problem, so there's no need to even go there.
Yeah.
just open up a can of worms. I don't like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I would like to talk about Nate Moore leaving Marvel. So
yeah, we do that.
Leaving the studio. I do want to talk about Black Panther 3, and I really want to give flowers to Dre Mack, because I thought what he said was very profound. Yesterday morning, I enjoyed what he said, and it's kind of stemmed from what Nate Moore talked about, with their decision from Black Panther 2. He talked about really they used life to imitate art imitating life. I'm sorry, art imitating life, and that's where they made the decision with Black Panther 2. And then he kind of talked about really the thought process between so you decide to kill the entire royal family, try to decide to make Wakanda seem weak all of a sudden, and take apart the idea of that it was a black man shown how to be a man by his father, and took away that option and then you gave TJ, and he took away his father, and he took away his country, and he took away his heritage, and then you moved him to a different place that had nothing to do with Wakanda, and then you want to say this is the same thing. And he said, and we really what you're doing in the idea of art imitating life, he's like, you should understand that what art really should do is connect and then give you a better goal, right?
Yep.
So it should be about a household, a man, a woman, a child, that trinity, right? And being a foundation for people. So to understand and not be individualistic, not just thinking about me, not just thinking about what I can do, but actually giving the foundation of a family and showing that to people, and having this art be imitating what you want to see in life. So like when you have the idea of representation, but it's not just representation, but it's also showing you a goal what to be. And the idea you could have had, because Black Panther is the strongest black character. He is, a genius. He is a king. He's a leader of a country. He's all these great things. And he could have been a great man, and then showing how a great man could then hand it down to his son. And we get rid of that trope of, black men only being brought up by their mothers, not having a father in their lives, not having all these negative things that we have. And it happens. It's true. But there are a lot of black men that do take care of their family. There's a lot of black men, a lot of black families that do stay together, that work through that stuff. And to not have that, have an opportunity to do it, and decide to go a different direction because of your feelings, and not understanding how important this character really is, and how it really does show. This might be the only time some people understand what black people are through this movie. It sounds very weird because you're around black people all the time, but this might be the only time. This might be the only time someone sees himself in a positive manner in film. And you took away the opportunity with the greatest character that it is, and you didn't highlight any of those type of things. You didn't really give him his credibility. You didn't give him his intelligence, and you didn't allow him to be with another black woman and build a family and raise a child in wedlock or any of those things in any way with their father there, that foundation. And then you want to give us this TJ, and then think we're just hating on the kid. We're hating on the circumstances that you put him in, and you didn't have to do it. You didn't. So you tore down the royal family. You deconstructed the family that could have been. You took away the father out of the family again, out of the structure. You took away his culture, and trying to tell us to be okay with it. That's bullshit. And I thought Dre said so eloquently, and I just it really touched me and really hurt me. And sometimes you get so emotional you can't get the words out why you're so upset. Because I'm a fan of the character, because I'm a fan of comic books and all this stuff, but it's because this art is supposed to be imitating a positive outlook on life, on our lives, and give you something to hope for, to shoot for, to be. I could be the most intelligent person in the room. I could be a rich person, but still be a good person. I could be a leader. I can build a family. I can have my family built for generations. My father, personally, is the most important person in my life.
Mhm.
Hands down. I'm the man I am today because of my father.
Mm.
And it's the idea of that's what you need to build. And you could have did that with T'Challa. The most important person in his life was T'Chaka. The most important person in his life for his son should have been T'Challa. And having that handed down is more important than how I felt because Chadwick Boseman died.
Mhm.
And you missed out. And I blame Nate Moore because you should have known better. And you were the one that they kind of leaned on. And you were the chance to change it. And you didn't. So I really had to get that out because I've been thinking about it after Dre talked about the family and what they could have done. Man, Dre, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad a lot of people are watching it. But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I'll clip because I know he does a lot of live channels, so I won't clip it, but I'll add the description, so you go check out his full conversation, But yeah, that is interesting. Even like you said, like they broke down the family.
Yeah,
They even did like a horrible trope with that, with a minority versus minority. It's like, oh, it wasn't like it was
Black on brown.
Hispanics, brown people that took down the black family. So it's like they did that, but and I didn't even that is like super interesting stuff, man, because like because like if you want to go down this road with TJ being the new guy, like you said, who's gonna teach him? Like
Who's gonna teach you how to be a man?
we've only seen Shuri twice so far.
Mhm.
The first movie, she was a jokester. She was joking all the time. She didn't take anything serious. The second time, she was just like in depression the whole time, until the very, very end. Even then, she was full of rage, So it's like, who's he supposed to learn how to be a king from? Who's he, like his mother isn't royalty, so
They killed the rest of the royal
and then
family.
they killed everyone else.
Killed
Yeah, they killed everyone.
Well, Shuri's still there, luckily, but
I mean, the rest of they killed the rest of the royal family.
the father's dead.
No one else is there.
But all the leaders, like anybody who was a leader in the family, is gone.
Every black man that was in there was taken out of the
But
movie.
even Shuri's not even the leader. She's the Black Panther. She ain't
She's
king though.
out of the
She's not
country.
even the leader.
So they
what's his
took
name?
The family. They took the culture too.
Is
They took all of it from this kid. And then you want to tell me that this is supposed to be my T'Challa?
Yeah.
And it makes you seem like you hating on Shuri, because I think Shuri could definitely teach him a lot of things. Because if T'Challa taught Shuri all the stuff, and then she took it to another level because she's brilliant, and that's great, So I don't ever want to downplay Shuri as to who she is, but I hate to say it this way, but a man needs to teach another man how to be a man.
Mhm.
And that's something we always miss in our culture a lot. And not that it's a problem that you've been raised by a woman, but it's harder for women to show a man how to be a man. And women say it all the time. And that's a problem we have, especially in the 90s. It was really kind of prevalent in our society. It was talked about a lot. Not as much as now, but this was a chance to change the narrative. It was a chance to give, once again, art to imitate how life could be. That's what Wakanda was. If we didn't have all these oppressors coming in and trying to come in and take all of our stuff, this is what we could be, right? So then the next movie, you do the exact opposite. You say, oh, we fall apart. As soon as one thing comes in, we fall apart. We're not strong enough at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so many issues that I have, and like, you really, really hurt for the culture. And with the things you could have done. I don't blame you for that. because we're not going to have that opportunity again.
And I
It's
think
n-
the
never
main
gonna
reason they chose to do that is because they don't know anything else. If you look at all the other Marvel characters, they all go through the same route. Cap doesn't have a family. Bucky has no family. Tony loses his family. Thor loses his family. The Guardians lose their family. Every single hero loses their family. So that's all they know.
He's not a
And
hero.
instead of
He's a
making a
king.
choice to keep the family in this one, they were like, well, all we've done with the other ones is make them lose their family. Like a Thor, he lost his culture, lost his father, his mother's dead. We're just going to do the same thing with Black Panther because the fans have accepted it overall, not realizing that Black Panther represented a little bit more than Thor because Thor is not a real culture. Thor, you know, I mean, I don't want to,
Well, you can say the
kind
same.
of,
Wakanda is not really a
Kind of, but not
place,
really.
but the
yeah,
reason
but
why it made all this money and the way it connected with people
but the
was
film took a lot from real African
Mhm.
countries. They went there
Mhm.
and studied. Like Ryan Coogler went to a kingdom in Africa that's hidden by mountains, so he can see how Wakanda is supposed to be. They took dances from real African dances, so it has a lot of realism to it. There's a
Yeah.
reason why when we see these things, we immediately relate it to it because it's just in us. So they didn't realize, and I know they didn't realize because they didn't want to make this movie, right? Like Kevin Feige and Chadwick Boseman had
That's
to
what they
fight
should have done. They should
for
have.
Black Panther to make the first Black Panther. So they didn't understand the cultural impact that this movie was going to have. I was
Mhm.
thinking about it the other day in terms of like there was a 4, 5, 6 year span where Black cinema and television was on. We got Get Out, we had Insecure, we had Atlanta, we had Black Panther, we had a couple other things in movies and
Lovecraft.
television that was starting to be on a rise. And I noticed that it's starting to be on a downturn. And I think the death of Chadwick Boseman is tied into that. So I
Mhm.
think a lot of that makes sense. I think a lot of people are trying to make it about race with Marvel, like say Kevin Feige's racist. I don't think it's that. I just think that they didn't understand what they had because they did it with every other hero. Every hero, the trope in Marvel and in DC too, is eventually their foundation goes away from their family, and then they find other people to be their family. And I think they made the wrong decision. I think they should have, even if they wanted to kill T'Challa and not recast him, they should have not had the son be sent outside the country.
Mhm.
If you want to keep him in Wakanda until the power structures gets put together, he's in Wakanda but safe. That's one thing. But to just have him outside the country and stuff like that, that's the part that I think they really made the mistake.
I think if you understand the character, if you are going to make a movie, it's now your responsibility to understand the character. So ignorance is not going to ever be an answer for me because I was ignorant to what the character does or ignorant to things that I could have done with the character. Especially because Chadwick was lost and you had to make a movie and it was time to make a sequel, so you had to do something. So think of a look at there's comic books that tell you what to do. You can send them out into space. You can make storylines around it. You can figure out a way to say we're not going to kill off this character
Mhm.
because you are so hurt that you're going to make a decision that's going to be something that's going to be everlasting. And understand how important this character he's not Thor. He's not because there's billions you know what I'm saying, we're hundreds of white characters that don't represent an entire culture, that don't represent all Black people, because you don't have those characters. You don't really understand the character or understand the cultural significance of the character. And if you don't, then you shouldn't be making that decision, especially after you saw how the cultural phenomenon, how much of a cultural phenomenon it was.
Mhm.
That's on you. That's your responsibility. Nate Moore, that was your job. Literally your job. Why did they bring you in?
Mhm.
I could blame Ryan Coogler, but Ryan Coogler is the same thing in his movies all the damn time. Every single movie. So I'm not going to sit here and blame him. It's not his job. It was Nate Moore's. So when Nate Moore said he's leaving and transitioning to producing, and I'm actually happy because I felt like you had a job to do. He understands comics. He understood the character, and he didn't do the right thing. and it was literally his job. He was the only one standing there that could have, and he didn't. And I've already laid out, all the things I felt about why in the construction of the family and all the other stuff and the character and all that stuff, but it's literally his job. And my fear is that we're going to go in Black Panther 3, they're going to put Denzel Washington in it, and they're not going to fix any of this stuff. They're going to say, hey, it's a black movie with Denzel. And they're not going to fix
like a Band-Aid.
That's my biggest fear. They're too far gone to. They did some pretty irreparable damage in the last movie.
Yeah.
If they do that, I'm going to be more upset. And my only thing that I'm hoping with is that Denzel, who knew Chadwick very well, that was obviously his inspiration, maybe understand, and Denzel, who chooses his movies very deliberately, like he knows what he turned down roles to make him big money because he didn't think it was right for the culture, or it wasn't right thing to speak to. So my hope is that it's not going to be that, but I can see Marvel wanting it to be that. And that worries me. So if you don't fix the issues that are really there, what are we doing? What's the point of making this movie? Why are you greenlighting this movie? Greenlit, So I want to see what they actually do with it. And I'm hoping, we've had some good answers right before. We have a video that we were trying to release that was a great answer. I think that would be a good way to bring him back in and use that same essence and bring a father to TJ and fix some of that dynamic. I'm hoping that we could do that. But the other next report was that you're going to do a soft reboot of Black Panther regardless. So my question is then, does Black Panther 3 not matter to you? Or is it just a money-making thing? Or is it to say I did a trilogy for this black character without really having the black character in it? I don't know. I don't know. Don't piss on me and tell me it's rain.
Because Namor said he's gone, but
he's going to be there through Black Panther.
But he's going to be there for Black Panther, right? Because I think Coogler already said he's going to join.
Yeah,
the
he's gonna be like a producer.
Yeah. But then that's going to be the last thing he's working on, right? For Marvel, as a Marvel executive. Yeah.
I think he's just doing it as a producer, though.
Yeah,
I don't think he's executive. Yeah.
There's a lot of like really good points, But what is the solution for Black Panther 3? Do you a boycott? Do you just say like don't go support it? Do you like what can the fans do? And I'm not saying the answer. Dangerous. I'm just saying like
it's a dangerous question because if you boycott it, and because a lot of people say F you, you're not taking care of me, I boycott it. But then you also telling the Marvel Studios that hey, black movies ain't gonna make no money. So it's a very difficult situation to put yourself in, and it's a nightmare for me. So that's why I'm like, especially someone, I am a super Black Panther fan. Like every comic book I've read, every single one, I know the storylines. I know all of this. I know when he was with the Fantastic Four. I remember when Ian Storm took over for Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman. I know all these storylines. I know all of it. I'm a huge fan, and to the point where, what do I do? Do I want it to go fail because it's not the story I want, or do I want this movie to do good enough that we could get the reboot and they're not going to just throw it away?
Yeah. See, and that's exactly, it's like you don't support it, but then by not supporting it, you're telling Marvel that like, this black character is not making money, so he's just going to be a character in the background.
Ironheart or Wonder Man or whatever these other and the War Machine stuff. Nobody goes out for these things. They're just gonna make them attach them to a white character's movie instead of giving them their own projects.
Technically, Wonder Man is a white character, so that's what
yeah, I know.
Yeah, we don't have T'Challa. Yeah. That's why like I brought that up. I was like, what can we do? you know, because speaking with your money is also it's a double-edged sword kind of thing, you know. So
Mhm.
I mean,
I honestly think
and
the best thing is to voice yourself, right?
yeah,
To really speak out and let people understand why you're coming from where you're coming from.
mhm.
Understand your frustration. Understand why this character should be what the it demands certain things. But the worry is if you take away the money, you lose your power.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And no one's going to hear you. And we go back to the 90s where it took 15 years to get this Black Panther movie even started.
Mhm. Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I
I
agree. I
just
think
wonder
the
what the
best thing
general
is
audience feels like.
good. What you say?
I was just saying, I wonder what the general audience, just like with Superman, we talked about how the general audience feels about the trailer. I wonder how general audience feels about the whole T'Challa situation. Because when I talk to people who are not in it, like we're in it, right? Like we know all the intricacies and stuff like that. So that's how we feel a certain way. When I talk to other people, they're like, "Well, yeah, he died. So what do you want them to do?" And I was like, "Well, they could have recasted him." It was like, "Nah." And I was like, "Oh." You know what I mean? Like, so I'm thinking like the people who are like not on the internet as much. I'm wondering
Mhm.
how they
Mhm.
feel about it after Black Panther 2. If they feel like Black Panther 3 needs that recast to happen, or they just want to see another movie and that's in the MCU and it's not that big of a deal. I do wonder how in general people feel.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on the type of person you want or the type of conversation you're having. So like my dad is not into, the MCU right now. I mean, he got me started on comic books, but he's not really into that now. But our conversation becomes more cultural, and you understand this cultural significance that things could have on us as a people, and you understand why you want to have a character of that ilk. So sometimes a professor or a person who wants to have a deeper conversation can bring a different idea. In general, people are going to talk about it just, in very general terms. But when you really start to break down in the idea of that art should imitate how life want life to be, how life could be, that image, because you don't see it on screen. Because the only thing we really see, honestly, I hate to say this about Black movies, is all the negative tropes, all the cultural things that we find despicable a lot of times. That's all they want to make movies about. So when you have the opportunity to change it, you have to.